No, you close it.
No, you close it.
No, you close. I'm just your father. And then if there's time, you'll let me say something?
You can have plenty of time.
Brother was down on the field. I would
should
take my shirt off and do all of that.
Yeah, and none of us in the family would like that.
What is the difference between partly cloudy and mostly sunny? Because when it's partly cloudy, it's mostly sunny. And when it's mostly sunny, it's partly cloudy. So what the hell's the difference? It's in the answer if you watch Jeopardy.
The answer is in the answer.
Sometimes.
Or the question.
Or the, no, well, it has to be a question. Half Irish, half Italian.
I couldn't tell either or.
Yeah. That's the guy that gets drunk and beats people up.
If I was on the ground, the first thing my wife would say is he's fine. He's just being dramatic.
Who's that?
It's all good. Brent, if you need the cough, just cough. Now we got to pay him for that. You want to play with us? Go ahead and keep score. Don't tell us what your score is, because I'm not
Who
going
are
to
you
care.
talking to? Your imaginary friend that you had through high school?
Pretty much.
What was his name? Bobby?
Jimmy.
Bobby.
Question, because it's so dumb. Right.
And it's not, I'll give you, you don't have to,
If
I do it.
Pop, pop, faces.
Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have a little bit of fun, and we're going to do something different with a little bit of fun added in, just for the heck of it. So it's different, because that's what we want to do, something different.
Can you get to it, please?
We'll get to it. That was a dramatic pause, by the way. I know you don't know what that is. We're going to do, what are we calling it? Dad Jokes Olympics?
It's the Dad Joke Olympic. You've
Dad
prepared
Jokes
jokes that you've heard, made up, whatever it is.
These are jokes that I made
and
up.
I'm going to judge it.
I made up every single one
Oh,
of
I
these.
should have got
just
like
so you know.
a 5
Like
to
cards?
1. Yeah.
You have fingers? Works the same way. Joke number 1.
That's not a dad joke.
We haven't even started.
That's not a dad joke.
All right, let me ask you this. Did you hear about the circus fire?
No.
It was intense. It was intense.
But you mean intense?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's how they say, how do you know Native Americans make love in wigwams? Their love is intense. That's a good one, too.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I
How do you
think
catch a squirrel?
I don't know.
You climb up a tree and act like a nut. There's a lot of nuts out there nowadays. A lot of squirrels eating good.
I haven't heard those two.
No?
I'm hoping I haven't heard any of these.
Well, let's see. Did you hear about the guy who invented lifesavers?
No.
He made a mint.
He made a mint?
He made a mint.
You mean amends?
A mint.
A mint?
He made a mint.
I didn't get it. Why do I not get it?
What's a lifesaver?
A candy.
It's a mint. A lifesaver is a mint.
Yeah, maybe I look at it as a candy.
And make a mint is also making a lot of money.
I just had those gummy lifesavers.
So
I don't view it as a mint.
No, because they're talking about
yes, I know the white one,
peppermint ones.
Yes, the old
oh
ones.
My God.
That you got to know your audience.
Okay, last night I told my wife she should embrace her mistakes. So you know what she did? She hugged me.
I don't think that's not a dad joke. That's a
dad joke.
That's a marriage joke.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Why can't you tell eggs jokes? Why can't you tell an egg a joke?
Pause for the fire.
The siren?
Yeah.
Why can't you tell an egg a joke?
Hold on.
It's gone.
Give it 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Why can't you tell an egg a joke?
Because it'll crack?
It'll crack up. Yeah, very good. Very good. You got one.
I'm not judging these. I'm supposed to judge them.
Oh, you're supposed to judge
them.
That
was okay because I felt like I knew it.
You did know that. That was an easy
predictable.
one. That was an easy one.
But most of dad jokes are these predictable, dad stop it kind of a thing.
They're corny.
Yes, corny. There you go.
And they're punny.
Much better word.
And they're not always funny.
No.
Not always. Sometimes.
I think some of the best dad jokes aren't funny. They're just, dad.
Like,
some of these are good.
What did the bald man say when he got a comb for his birthday?
I don't know.
I'll never part with this.
Okay, moving on. What else you got? You got 3 pages
All right.
here.
What did the big flower say to the little flower?
I don't know.
Hey, bud.
See, I was going off like the size of the flowers and what would he say?
You
probably could say that with what the flowers say to another.
Yeah, well, it got to be a big flower, little flower.
Why?
because otherwise the bud doesn't make any sense. A little flower is a bud. Get it? That means it's not a flower yet.
Of course I do. Gosh. So that's why it's a word.
Now you're just here's an aside. I went to buy some camouflage pants the other day.
Why?
I couldn't find any.
Is that on there or did you just make it up?
It's on there. But I made it my own. That's the trick to telling jokes, by the way. Here's a hint. Here's a tip. If you like telling jokes and you're a decent joke teller, don't say you're going to tell a joke. Make it about you. So if you're going to tell a joke about
it's good
a guy walks into a bar, don't say a guy walks into a bar. To go up to your friend, whoever you're telling it to, and just say, hey, I was in a bar the other day.
Yeah.
I was in a bar. Now you've got their attention. Number one, you have to get people's attention. And then as you go, make it serious. Make it like this happened, like an actual thing. And then when you hit them with the punchline, it's that much funnier.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, once you say, like people, this is a big mistake people make telling jokes, since we're doing a joke show, is to go up to somebody and say, I just heard the greatest joke.
Yeah, and then they can't.
You're already set up to fail.
Reproduce it, right?
Well, they can reproduce the joke. But in your mind, you're like, nah, that's not the greatest joke.
Right.
This person's already decided whether or not that's going to be the greatest joke.
That was like the guy in Pennsylvania that said, we're going to try the best pizza you've ever had. It's horrible.
Exactly.
It was just horrible.
There's a hint. If you're going to tell a joke, personalize it.
Yeah.
Don't say, a guy, say, my uncle, the other day my uncle called me, make it like that. Make it a story. And it'll be the punchline will be that much funnier because you've reared him in to think it's something real, and then you hit him with the punchline, and then you got him. And that's if you want to see snots coming out of people's noses after you tell them a joke, that's how you do it.
All right, what else you got?
And then you want to walk away quickly. By the way, what did the grape say when it got stepped on?
Squish? No. That wouldn't make any sense.
Grapes don't actually talk, just so you know. So he would say, squish. No, it didn't say anything, just a little whine.
Damn it. That makes
whine.
sense. That's a good one. Just a little whine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what your mom's favorite wine is? Why can't we go to Acapulco?
You guys have been to Hawaii, but not in a long time, right?
To where?
Hawaii.
We were both in Hawaii at the same time, but we didn't know each other.
Did you guys ever go together?
No.
I thought you went for your honeymoon.
No, we went to the Poconos, which was a big mistake.
Poconos, that's right. That's what
big,
it was.
Tragic mistake.
That's right.
It was horrible. We're going to Florida soon, so we're like that.
Do you remember I wrote an early song and I didn't know what the Poconos was?
Mm-hmm.
And the line, there's a song called Kiss Me. The line was third date at the Poconos, and I showed it to someone later on who knew what the Poconos was. I was like, hey, what do you think of this song? He's like, third date? You mean third year?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know what the Poconos was. I thought it was something Pinocchio does when he's got a booger up his nose. Poconos.
That's not on there, right?
That's not on there. I just made that up.
It should
I
be
just
on.
made that up.
It should
But see,
be
I
on.
made it about me. See how I made it about me.
Well, it's
That's
always
what you got to do.
It's always about you.
Life? Well, most things
Life
should be about me.
revolves around Annivar. Although, this is
Here's
the only
galaxy.
time doing this show is the only time I call you Annivar. I've
Yes.
never called you Annivar. It's always Andy or
No.
Dad.
Yeah, it should always be dad or pop or father. Father would be better. Yes, father.
Yeah.
If I ever called my dad by his first name, even when I was in my 30s, he would have just taken out a gun and shot me. He wouldn't even think twice.
You always have these stories of like
I'd be like,
the
"Hey,
most
Marcel."
difficult, the most difficult like upbringing.
Oh, well, trust me, it was. The chickens we
hills,
had a better
When
life.
you walk to school.
Walked to school. We didn't go uphill both ways, but we did walk to school about 9 blocks.
Yeah.
We, my dad was a
the
janitor,
snow.
so we had to help clean the school and the church and the convent on Saturdays. Nothing scares a little kid more than going to a convent on a Saturday when the nuns don't have their habits on. And you're like, they got hair. Who knew? And then you got to keep that a secret. You can't tell the other kids. They don't want to let you tell the other kids.
Mm.
Yeah, that was crazy when we did that. It was like, this is weird. But that's what my dad sent us to go do.
Gotcha.
So we had to go do it.
Thanks, Dad.
He was a little guy, but he was tough. But I never called him anything but Papi.
Yep.
Not Dad, Papi. Okay, where's the other one? Did I ever tell you I had a job at a calendar factory? Did I tell you that?
A colander?
Calendar.
Calendar?
Yeah. I got fired because I lost a few days.
You know, for a second I thought you had lost your place and you were talking, but there's no calendar company or job.
No, it's actually the joke is, I switched a little bit. So I used to have a job at a calendar factory, but I got fired because I took a couple days off. Same idea.
I like that, though.
Same idea.
I lost a couple days.
What do you call a snowman with a six-pack?
I don't know.
Well, here it says an abdominal snowman. Abdominal?
Yeah.
But I would call him an alcoholic. That's what I would call him.
Why is that funny?
I don't know. Because a snowman with a six-pack is like, first of all, how did he get to the store? That's number one. And then when he get ID'd, and then like he's got no pockets. So where would he keep his license? There's a lot of ifs there, folks.
I think if a snowman walked into a store, the ID is the last thing the owner's worried about.
That's true. If a snowman walked into a store, I think the guys would leave. I don't think you'd have a problem getting a six-pack, because the owner would be gone. That is true. Here's a good one. Here's a really good one. Why can't a skeleton be a hitman? Why couldn't a skeleton be a hitman?
I was gonna say because he's got
like
no
for the mob
balls.
or something. No, that's why they can't have kids. Snowballs.
Why can't a skeleton be a hitman?
They don't have the guts.
So it's really the same idea.
That's Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
They don't have the guts.
Yeah, the balls. Well, see,
Yeah.
they would say the balls.
Yeah, snowballs is why can't snowmen have babies?
Yeah.
Snowballs. That's that one.
That's another one you're just throwing in there.
Well, that's a takeoff on that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
They don't have
that's
the
the
guts.
thing when
Okay.
you.
That's the clean version.
I used to
They
go.
don't have the
I used to go to
guts.
weddings with your mom. Her side. I don't think except for. No, I wasn't at Ovi's wedding either. I don't think I've ever been to a wedding on my side. Now
What
that
do you
I
mean
think
you
about it.
weren't at
Ovi's wedding? No, I was in Guam. I was in the Navy.
You're in the Navy.
I was pulling the Guam when he got married.
Got it.
So the only
Italian weddings are pretty fun.
Brian's wedding. Those are the only two weddings I've been to on my side.
Every Italian wedding we've been to has the best food.
The food is good. Yeah,
No, the best food.
not the best food, but
The
good
best food.
So it was the same.
Mario had the huge after party or late
Yeah,
night
they
snack.
had burgers and
Had
pizza.
burgers and pizza and hot
little
dogs. They had a whole
dogs.
bunch, but it was a whole bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't disagree. And the sweet
12
table
o'clock
is
at
what's
night.
worth it. The sweet table is it. We went to a wedding. What was I going to say? When we go to weddings, there was one of her cousins. We would hook up at the bar and we just all night go back and forth telling jokes.
Got it.
Because he'd tell a joke that would trigger a joke, then I'd tell a joke that would trigger a joke.
That's how it happens.
And that's how you kind of get into it, which is nice. But the sweet table at an Italian wedding is why you go. And if the sweet table is not there, you should take money out of the envelope, I believe.
So one of my uncles does that. He puts cash in an envelope
Yeah.
and takes out based on how the wedding
Oh, I don't know about that.
He does.
But I did have a friend who
Yeah.
had the best. He had the best way to go to a wedding. He would go buy like a $5 card,
Mm-hmm.
like a really expensive, nice card. Then he'd go to the wedding, and there's always a gift table, and there's always at least one gift with no card. And he'd put his card under the ribbon.
That's
And I
not
said, "How?"
that's
I said,
not
"What?"
smart
I go,
or good at
I
all.
go, "What?" He goes, the nice thing is, like 2-3 weeks later, you find out what you gave him. Oh, I gave him a toaster. Because there's no card. So he would just write, "Happy
the
wedding.
registry, the registry shows
Enjoy,
us who
enjoy
bought
this
what.
gift." Huh?
The registry shows us who bought what.
Yeah, but they didn't have registries when I was young. We didn't have any of that.
Well, you can't do that anymore.
You weren't going into stores like this. I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. People gave you what they thought you needed. And then you know what you said? Thank you. Nowadays, they're like, oh, my God, somebody gave me this. It wasn't on my registry.
We
Please.
had people who came to our wedding who didn't give us anything.
I've had that, too.
So
I've had that, too. But
I would've
here's what I
taken
believe.
anything,
But here's what
yeah.
I sincerely believe when it comes to weddings or anything. If you're inviting somebody for a gift, you should invite them.
I agree. That's kind
You
of
should
what I
invite
said.
someone that
And
you want there. If they give you a
some
gift, that's
people-
icing on the cake.
Some people, their presence is the present.
That's a present. It should be to you. That should be their gift to you. Anything else should be gravy, I guess. But and people who like, I know people who like, oh, they're having it at the Four Seasons. That's $100 a plate. You really should give $200.
Or like on location.
No, I didn't tell you to have it at the Four Seasons. I didn't say, hey, you should have your wedding at the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
That was your decision.
Right.
And if all I can afford is $50 a person, that's all you're getting.
Yeah.
I should not put myself in financial peril because you want to have a wedding in Jamaica. You know, if you want to go to Jamaica and have your wedding, go.
Yeah.
If I come, you should be glad that I paid for the airfare.
We thought about doing a wedding.
Destination wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we knew we'd have to pay for everything and
Yeah.
everyone.
Right.
We didn't want to like put any kind of burden on people to be like,
Yeah.
oh, you got to get airfare and all
that's
this
your
other
choice.
stuff.
I mean, people have weddings in very expensive places, and then they make some money because you do make some money, which is not a bad thing.
We made no money.
But people have weddings in not so expensive places,
Yep.
and the money that they get more money to keep. You know, you can actually maybe buy a house with what you get.
Yeah.
But if you're going to have your wedding downtown at the Four Seasons again, you're going to have your wedding at the Four Seasons, and you think that you got to pay the $50,000, and you collect 70, you're only walking away with 20, right?
Yeah.
That's your problem, not mine.
I mean,
That ain't my problem.
let's move on. This is not about
Okay.
weddings.
Anyway, that was something else.
Give me 5 more.
Why did the math book look so sad?
I don't know.
There are too many problems. Too many.
Well,
problems.
there's a lot of solutions in that too, though.
There are solutions in the back of the book, and the stupid students didn't realize that.
Yeah.
They were trying to figure it out, like what the heck, dude? And I'm like, hey,
What's the great
the answers in the back of the book.
What's the great Doctor Strange things? It's like you got to flip the other page to find out the spell thing.
Exactly.
I forgot what he tells the guy in the first movie. He's like, they put the spells on the back of or the consequence on the back of the page or whatever.
Yeah, everything's in the back of the book.
Yeah. All right, what else you got?
Why did the coffee file a police report?
Because I don't know. I was gonna say because it got burned,
Got mugged.
mugged. Yeah.
Got mugged. You were close. You were close.
I wasn't close at all. That's not close. I appreciate it,
Look,
but
you're
not close at all.
Your Uncle Ovi used to be a baker.
okay.
Did I ever tell you that?
No.
He quit because he couldn't make enough dough.
Got it.
He did work at a bakery.
Did he really?
He did.
Oh, I was actually literally just gonna say I don't believe he worked at a bakery.
Yeah. Did I tell you I'm writing a book?
No.
Yeah, I'm writing a book about glue,
Okay.
but I'm stuck on the first chapter.
Probably should be the first page.
I'm losing weight.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm on a seafood diet.
Seafood.
Hey, seafood? I eat it. Very good.
That's-
You knew
that's-
that one.
Everyone knows that one.
Not
Yeah,
everyone.
That shouldn't have been on.
That was a good one.
What else you got? Let's go.
Okay,
Let's rapid fire.
what state is known for small drinks?
I don't know.
Minnesota. Minnesota. How do you stop a bull
Minnesota.
from charging?
I don't know.
You take away his credit card. Okay, what happened when the blue ship and the red ship collided at sea? They were marooned.
Blue and
Get it?
red. Yeah. I do.
What do you call a line of men waiting to get haircuts? A barbecue.
A barbecue. So you have to say it that way.
Why?
right?
Why do seagulls fly over the sea? Because if they flew over the bay, they'd be
There'd
bagels. What do you call two monkeys who share an Amazon Prime account?
I don't know.
Primates.
Primates.
Primates. Why did the football coach go to the bank? He had to get his quarterback. Come on, that was an easy one. Why did the orange lose the race? That's a good one.
I don't know.
That's a good.
I don't know any of these.
Ran out of juice.
Well, he also died then.
Well, he would have died. Why are fish so smart?
I don't know.
Come on, you got to know this song.
Why are fish so smart?
Yeah.
I have no clue.
They travel in schools. You didn't know that?
Yeah, school of fish.
A group of fish is a school of fish. Why do peppers make good archers?
No clue.
They have an arrow.
They have a what?
They have an arrow.
They have an arrow.
They have an arrow.
See, it's all stuff like, how could I think of any of that, right?
Well, you know,
some people are smart enough to go have
this
an
would be
arrow
fun to
and
do.
pepper.
This would be fun to do with another comic.
Yes, it would be.
And then
It'd be
see
nuts
what
for you
because
guys.
I did this one time. We did a show, Bob J and I.
Yeah.
We did a show where we said we're not going to do material. Actually, we did a little bit of material. We did material. I'm sorry. We did shortened sets, and then we went up and we did jokes. Yeah. But we try to I tell a joke and stop.
I'm pretty sure I was there.
You might have been there.
Yeah.
We stopped at the punchline, and the other guy had to come up with a punchline. And several times, the made-up punchline was funnier than the actual punchline.
Yeah.
That's fun. I'd like to do that again.
I think that's gonna close out. I think we're over time.
Yeah. Well,
it's nice. Nobody tells us how long or how short we can be here, which is great.
I actually used to hate facial hair.
Okay.
But then it grew on me.
Oh, this is a ditch.
And we'll end on that because that's a good way to end.
We both shaved today.
I did shave. Well, I told you I was going to.
You said you were going to shave yesterday and the day before.
Yeah, I say a lot of things,
but
that I don't do.
That's going to do it. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you share, and subscribe.
Yep.
And tell your friends.
Yep.
Tell them to come on board with us and make some comments.